What is going on, everybody? So I feel like the title of this video kind of explains itself. I don't think I need to rattle off a bunch of statistics to get you guys to believe and understand that our modern dating system is kind of effed up. There's a lot of people that are unhappy with the dating and really just unhappy in general. People that are just kind of miserable. Depression, anxiety, mental illness is the highest it's ever been. Divorce rates are the highest they've ever been. There's a lot of problems going on in our society. And that's why I want to make this video to talk about some of the reasons why that is. And then at the end, I'm going to circle back and hopefully give some ways that I think we can solve that or at least start going in the right direction. So jumping straight into it, the first reason is an obvious one, but it's technology. I mean, technology has a lot of advantages, but it also has a lot of disadvantages, and there's a lot of byproducts that come with it. But one of the biggest reasons or one of the biggest repercussions of this technology is that we have too many options. We have too many people being thrown in front of us, and it's creating this like paralysis by analysis. You go on a dating app or social media, and you have all these options in front of you, and it makes it hard to pick just one because you're always thinking, who's the next best option? Or you're overthinking it, trying to rationalize why you should date person A over person B. And it's just this big mental mind game that causes us not to take action or not actually commit and get serious to anyone because of it. One of my favorite analogies that relates to this is it's like when you log into Netflix and you see this big giant library of content and movies and videos to watch. And you have so many options in front of you, but it takes you 20 minutes to actually pick one movie, even though there's a lot of viable options. However, on the flip side, you move over to cable television where there's realistically maybe 4 or 5 good options, and you find something to watch like that. It's the same with the dating pool. When we have too many options in front of us, it makes it difficult for us to choose just one. And another point that goes hand in hand with this is that it's making us too accessible. The accessibility is too high. And what I mean by that is when we are constantly exposed to something, we tend to value it less. We tend to think of it as less important. It's like basic economics, really. Supply, demand. When supply is really high, demand is going to be low. When supply is low, demand is going to be high. So when we're constantly in communication, texting or Snapchatting or messaging someone on Instagram or replying to their stories, whatever it may be, it almost like lowers the attraction levels that we have with one another, especially when it's the early phases of dating. 20, 30 years ago, when people would date, they would have to call each other up on the phone, schedule a date, wait a day or two to actually go on the date, then go on the date hoping the other person shows up, and then they actually get to know each other and actually get to catch up. And that waiting period, that period of time where they're not constantly communicating with each other, builds up all of this anticipation, and it makes it exciting, and we just don't have that anymore. And I think this happens a lot when people go from date 1 or date 2 into more dates after that, because what happens is you go on that first date or two and then you start blowing each other's phones up and you're Snapchatting and texting constantly, and it just destroys all mystery or curiosity or interest that was initially built. People find it strange, but me and my girlfriend now, we don't even have each other on Snapchat. One, because I don't really use Snapchat that much and I don't want to. And two, I don't want to feel tempted or urged to Snapchat every exciting thing that happens in my life. I don't want to be going about my day-to-day life and feel the need to Snapchat every meal I have to her, or anytime I go to the gym, Snapchat her. I'll save that for when we actually hang out so that we actually have something to talk about and it actually builds some anticipation or excitement around when we do hang out. And another factor that goes hand in hand with this accessibility or constant communication is that when people are in relationships, cheating becomes a lot easier because of this. If you're going through a rough patch in a relationship, it makes it really easy to just turn to social media or turn to a dating app or turn to online whatever to get attention, or at least kind of entertain the idea of cheating. And I don't think that's good. I think when we're committing to someone or something, we should be able to withstand the boring or the not so good times without needing to get constant attention or without needing to go to some other source of affection. We're just becoming too needy as a society, really. And then the last point relating to technology is that it's breeding a lot of entitlement. And I'll touch on this one a lot more in the third point I'm going to make, because I think that's the most important. But you're just seeing a lot of entitlement just because a lot of people are getting attention that they wouldn't normally get if they didn't have a platform to share it on, whether it's a dating app or social media or whatever. And that is kind of messing up our mental frame, our mental perspective. But I will touch on that one more in a sec. Okay, moving on to the second reason that the modern dating system is failing so much is because we're experiencing a sexual revolution. Our society is probably more sexualized than it's ever been in history. And a lot of that is a byproduct of technology. You know, we have porn that's in the pockets of just about any kid from age 12 or 13 on up. And it doesn't even have to be as extreme as porn, but it can be social media as well. You know, even me, like if I log onto my Instagram, my explore page is just filled with women at the gym or hot women, you know? And it's one of those scenarios where the content we consume creates our reality. And when you're constantly being bombarded with sexual content on social media or movies or wherever it is, you're going to think about it a lot more. And what happens when you think about it a lot more? Well, you start sleeping around and having sex a lot more. And that's what we're also seeing, is that people are having sex without any strings attached. You know, like we used to be in a society where people would date or be in a relationship and then they would have sex. Now we're living in a society where people get on a dating app and they have sex on the first date, or they go out to the bars on Saturday and they have sex on a Saturday. And it's a lot more people. Like more people are just sleeping around without any strings attached. And while that may seem cool and exciting and liberating, what's happening is it's creating an environment where there's no incentive for people to actually date then. You know, what's the point of dating and committing to someone if I can get all of the benefits from it without doing that? You know, why date if I don't even need to date to have sex? Okay, and the third point that I want to make, and I really think this is the most important one, but we're experiencing a change in standards. And like I said in the previous point, there's a lot of entitlement that comes with social media and dating apps. And basically what's happening is the majority of women, average women, are getting bombarded on social media and dating apps with attention. Your average man is chasing all these women on social media and dating apps, and it's kind of just creating a sense of entitlement for the majority of women. Like women's standards are raising because of that, right? On the flip side, your average man is not getting nearly the same amount of attention unless they're starting the conversations and they're the ones pursuing. But back to women. So women's standards are raising, right? They are wanting the top 5 to 10% of men. And it's like the majority of women are wanting this. So what happens then is all of these women are going after these top 5 to 10% of men. Well, the thing is, these top 5 to 10% of men over here that are getting all of the attention are able to just sleep around and have sex without committing because, like I said in point number 2, the sexual revolution, right? You know, we can sleep with anybody and everyone without having to commit or be in a relationship. So now we're in a situation where all these women over here, they're single because the top 5 to 10% of men don't want to settle down because, you know, why would they? And then the top 5 to 10% of men, plus all of the men below them, are single because, well, no women are committing to the lower tier guys, and the top tier guys just don't see the reason to settle. And it's creating this environment where everybody is single and everybody's struggling with this dating situation. And this problem doesn't just lie on the women. The part 2 of this, I guess, is that the average man is falling behind. And you know, you've seen it on stats, I'm sure, but more women are getting college degrees than men. More women are finishing college. I have a stat here actually. In 22 cities, women under age 30 are out earning men. So you're seeing men, like the average man is just starting to fall behind. And I start to wonder why this is. And I think one of the big reasons is because it's almost like preached in society. Like men that are strong are just kind of labeled as toxic masculinity now, or they're being punished or villainized. Now, don't get me wrong, toxic masculinity is a real thing just as much as toxic femininity is a thing. But to look at any strong man and villainize him or bash him or even just promote mediocrity in men is causing this. So I guess the question is, like, how do we solve it? And I think this is a difficult question to answer, but the common sense answer to me is what worked in the past. You know, if you look back 20, 30 years ago, divorce rates weren't nearly what they are now. Mental illness was not what it is now. People seem to be happier. So maybe we should revert back to some of those more traditional dating methods. Maybe we should get off of the dating apps and spend less time on social media and instead actually get to meet people in real life. We should create some sort of separation between each other when we're dating. You know, we don't need to be texting and Snapchatting and in constant communication with the person that we're starting to be interested in. Don't sleep around as much. I mean, I'm not saying you have to wait till marriage, but maybe if the standard or the norm is no longer having sex right away, or having sex is the most important part of a relationship, then maybe more people will start to actually build a relationship first and then worry about sex. And I guess for the men specifically, despite what society tells you, there's no honor. There's no reason to be proud about being average. Like I said, it seems like society hates seeing strong men. And that's kind of one of the reasons I want to make these videos, is because I want to help encourage and inspire men to become great. Because I think that's a big reason why so many relationships and so much dating frustration is happening nowadays. So don't think that it's honorable to be an average man. You know, go to the gym, become great, become a good looking dude, you know, invest in your body and get in shape. Stop watching porn and stop chasing all these women online. You know, invest in yourself, invest in your future. Despite what a lot of people want you to think, money does matter. And if you're not making a lot of money, you're probably not going to have confidence, or at least as much confidence, and that's going to impact your ability to date. And I say this from personal experience. You know, when I was fresh out of college, the job I was working I didn't make a lot of money. And that's why I struggle, I think, a little bit with the dating markets, because I was always considering dates and where to take women out on dates and how much money I was going to spend and yada, yada, yada. And now that I have a job that pays a little bit more, I'm a little bit more free-flowing and a little bit more open to trying new experiences. All of these things that I would not be able to do if I wasn't making more money. Now, I think to some degree, you know, money matters. And then after you get to this threshold, you know, any money more after that probably doesn't make that big of a difference. But if you're broke or struggling financially, that's going to have an impact on your ability to date and just your ability to provide. So invest in yourself, fellas. Be great. Don't settle for average. And that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If there's any parts that you disagree with, any parts that you agree with, any parts that you thought I'm just totally off base with, let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.